Hey Tubes, Jonathan's wrong here, Truth in the Budget. So there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about that tie in together that are very important, I think. So I'll just dive in rather than think about how I want to tie everything together. So anyway, I was thinking about birth defects and the root of birth defects, because obviously in the beginning we were interbreeding with, I'm talking the beginning, the children of Adam and Eve were had to be breeding with each other. There's no real other options. So were things how they are nowadays, that would obviously lead to problems almost immediately. There are things that are called recessive traits, and then there's different levels of that, and then there's out of that come specific mutations that are tied to certain lineages. For a quick example, the Habsburg jaw, very easy to look up. A particularly grotesque one is the tribe in Africa who all have crab feet. But anyway, there's different birth defects, and a lot of them are amongst royalty and areas with a lot of inbreeding. Inbreeding also seems to cause mental retardation, and I'm not saying that in the way that you're not supposed to use that word, but their brains don't develop as well as a normal person's would. But anyway, I was thinking about the root of birth defects and how a lot of them are grotesque mutations, such as pinheads. One of the saddest, and there's a lot of really just grotesque and awful birth defects out there. Back pre-Christian John, which is, I'm referring to myself in the third person, was fascinated. I used to be fascinated with old medical photos, turn of the century, early. I was really into early photography, especially the grotesque, because it was, to me, very interesting. I don't know if I can look at that stuff now, but a lot of the birth defects and diseases and weird stuff. There's a big interest. It's interesting. As soon as photography became a thing, two of the biggest interests were oddities and pornography. That's one of the first things people wanted to capture. Oh, and then there's the whole Sleeping Beauties thing, which is extraordinarily creepy. That's when people used to dress up their dead children and put them in a way as if they were sleeping, and then take pictures of them. The Victorian age is very strange, but I'm very fond of their art and dress. Especially, I love Victorian posters that kind of like a Bauhaus style, like angular, the minimalism, and just, I don't know, I love it. Was it Art Deco type stuff? I don't know, blah blah blah. Anyway, got a little off topic there, but I think a lot of these mutations and birth defects, etc., are caused by Nephilim taint, blood. The remnants of the fallen. My darn cigarette went out. There's been this moisture in the air for days in Massachusetts. It's kind of nice today. The sun's out, the sky's not too cloudy. The clouds look like clouds, which is nice. But yeah, it's just the air's thick. But anyway, so I think a lot of these birth defects are caused by that Nephilim blood, which unfortunately means a great deal, if not most of us, have some taint in us, and it was bound to happen. There were giants after the flood. It was written. It still exists. Specific important ones are carried on through royal bloodlines. But there's tons of them. There were entire clans, like cities and stuff made of them. That people like Jacob were told to destroy every man, woman, child, and animal, kill everything, because everything was tainted with with a fallen angel blood, fallen angel DNA. The tree of life, as the Kabbalah would call it, whatever. That tainted blood is in a lot of us, if not most, probably all, because we were pushed to interbreed. We're pushed, especially nowadays. They're all pushing for everyone to just mix cultures, and probably stirring the pot. Who knows? Either way, we all got the taint, more or less. Now, this is important for a few reasons. In the book of Jasher, which may or may not be canon, I don't know. A lot of people like it, but basically, a big part, if not the whole book, is about giants who fall. They're a Nephilim, and they want to come back to God, and they're basically denied, which is a bummer, due to their lineage, sins of the fathers. So because they were part fallen angel, they were not allowed into heaven. They were denied. Now, if we all got a little bit of Nephilim in us, that would kind of make us screwed, wouldn't it? Now, Jesus came about in a time where there was a great deal of mixing. Rome was in full swing. There were great massive cultures everywhere. And this is post-flood. So you got to imagine pre-flood also there was a great deal of mixing. But anyway, time was right for the first coming. So through it's, I think, because I kind of wondered why, because you really got to think about these things sometimes, because it does bring you to a deeper understanding. Questioning it sometimes can feel a little scary or blasphemous, because you might raise questions, but the more you think, and the more importantly, you can't just read bits and pieces of the Bible and try to draw a full picture, which I'm somewhat guilty of. But anyway, we need Jesus because we all got demon blood in us. We all got fallen angel blood in us. The bulk of humanity, if not all of us, all got the taint. Now, by the sins of the fathers, if the giants weren't allowed, I guess, and also, Jacob was, charged to slay what appeared to be humans, what appeared to be animals, at least as is described in the Bible. They, didn't say to, slay the inhuman deviant monsters, said that he was charged to slay the certain tribes and peoples. Didn't really get into why, but we can surmise why. So this just leads me to believe that if you got any sort of fallen angel blood, you're basically screwed. So we need forgiveness through Jesus Christ and reach God through Jesus Christ, because we're all tainted beyond just what is unholy on earth. More than just how we are incompatible with God in our current form in this earth of sin. We're even further incompatible because we're things that should not be. Death was not meant to enter the world, but God operates on free will, because it has to be that way. You can't just make people do stuff, because what's the point? Seems even the angels have free will. For them to decide to leave with Satan, that he took a third of the host of heaven. Which might be that big chunk of empty space. Like who knows? That a big empty space in the equator region might have been a third of the host of heaven. I've heard people say it was from the firmament opening up during the deluge, but it opened up multiple places. There's evidence of over especially North America got blasted, and there's no star chasm over North America. So maybe that big black chasm in the firmament there is from the third of the host of heaven. But anyway, blah blah blah. I think that's basically my point. I thought that would take longer. I'm just having a little cruise before work. Anyway, let me think real quick if there's anything I wanted to get at, because that kind of happened really. If I have multiple points, I'm like, shocked it's under 15 minutes. But anyway, I think that's it. I can't think of anything else. So yeah, love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Especially if you're in the northeast region, because this is the nicest weather we've had in forever. It's in the mid 60s ish, 63 now, I guess. But we can see some blue and some sun, so it's a beautiful thing. But anyway, God bless you guys. Have a beautiful day, and God bless you.